are y'all doing out there, goddesses? Oh yeah, we love music and dance and astrology and the goddess and oracle readings. We like it all. Time to talk about this weekly astrology. Y'all ready? Hey, how are y'all doing today? This is 11/11. Yes, yes, yes. November the 11th. I am Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, and I love helping women align with their life purpose using the power of ancient wisdom and the goddess centered lifestyle. And I am here to talk a little bit about the astrology. So, yeah, let's look and see what we have going on. I will do an oracle reading. How is everybody doing out there? So yeah, I just encourage you, you can go sign up and get on my email list on my website. And when I send my next email out, I'm going to make sure I offer to anybody who wants to join my Mighty Networks community. You can meet me in there. Some of these videos I'm not going to be making public anymore. It's time to go underground. It's time to go underground. Some things I'm willing to, leave out there, and some things, yeah, nah, I need a safe space, right? So if you want to join me there, please do. And yeah, there'll be some things that I post in there that I'm not going to be posting publicly. Mm. So, yeah, let's go on ahead and pull up the astrology and see what we have going on there. Okay, is everything recording? Okay, here we are in this wild, wacky month called November 2024. And yeah, we have uh, Venus in Capricorn starting today. And that's, I personally, I think I talked about it last week, just in case I didn't know when I was going to make this video. Um, I like Venus in Capricorn. Here she is with her glorious self. Because Venus in Capricorn it's like a get real type of sign, and it's like having a plan, and you get that patience and that endurance to just stick and stay, right? And so Venus is about money, and to a certain degree it's like personal, like self-care, as well as like your personal appearance and relationships and self-worth and value, right? So we can have some get real moments around that. And it's like, we're going to get this done no matter what. We're going to focus on it. And maybe you kind of notice where you don't feel confident. And maybe people really aren't feeling confident to a certain degree in terms of relationships, just because of the eclipse point that is in Libra. Um, Maybe there's some relationship topics that you're kind of like looking at, how does this need to be upgraded, or there needs to be a breakthrough in this particular relationship. It could be love. It's not always love. Venus to me is not just love. It is relationships with people in our lives. A lot of times one-to-one relationships, interpersonal relationships. And maybe it's kind of like, you are needing to have a breakthrough in some of the long-term relationships that you've had. Um, yeah, I'll look at it like that. But also, it's Venus being in Capricorn, especially with Uranus being down there in Taurus, which is important because she rules Taurus, and Taurus has to do with money. And so this could be a time where there's like some breakthrough around personal finance, or, it's Capricorn. So Capricorn is like, if we're going to get this breakthrough, we've got to follow this plan. We've got to have some discipline. We've got to have some structure. And Venus in Capricorn could be this energy around just wanting to be more successful. Maybe you even find that you have more success with Venus being there. And let's see here. You can get a lot done. It's like you will like, because Venus is what you like to do. she's like wherever she is, she can make it easy going, right? She can bring some ease and flow to it. And so it could be while she's there, you'll feel okay with that hard work. She's gonna move. Am I in the wrong year? November. Oh, that's November. Okay. She's gonna move into Aquarius on December the 7th. So from November the 11th to December the 7th. This could be a time where you're really feeling like you are good with working hard. So just be okay with getting some things done. We have the sun in Scorpio. Scorpio is a fixed sign, so that can lend towards you feeling like a little bit obsessed with something, and you're just going to be all in and doing that thing. So that is good. And she's also supported by these planets, especially Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. And so that also brings a little bit of ease and flow. And maybe there's like this internal shift that is happening because Pisces is it's like the innermost part of you. And maybe the innermost part of you has created a shift, has been created there that allows you to be good with working hard. Um, I guess a downside of it could be a little bit of a ding to your self-worth and self-value because Capricorn is so blunt. It is such a blunt sign, and it's kind of like, you know, if you did, it's the kind of energy that would say something like, we don't want participation awards, and you don't need to be congratulated for doing what you were supposed to do. Like, it is not gonna be giving um a lot of compliments. If a Capricorn or Capricorn like person gives you a compliment, then they really think you did a great job. And so it might be something there that it's kind of like, looking at this lack of self-worth and value could be keeping you from being successful, could be keeping you from completing something. So that's a challenge of Venus being there. And this something could be something internal, such as what's over here in Scorpio. Maybe it's some type of traumatic something that has happened, or over here in Pisces, there's some blockage in your subconscious mind. Um, so I like Venus there, even with the challenges. With Capricorn. If you work with this Capricorn energy on the other side, whatever it is that you gain, you will keep. Okay. Venus and Capricorn can lead to a more conservative look in terms of like corporate America, black, blue, gray, white, and nothing flamboyant, and maybe a corporate look in terms of makeup, whatever that is. I don't really know what that is, but I like to talk about how Venus does, like where she is impacts what fashion looks like. Let's see here. The next one that we can talk about. So yeah, that's until December the 7th. And then we have Mercury square Saturn. And that's because Mercury is up here in Sagittarius. It actually kind of brings in that energy that I was talking about with Venus. It's a get real type of energy. It's like maybe there's a goal that you want to achieve, and then someone is like, just get real. Like, are you serious? Do you really think that's possible? Or there's a goal that you want to achieve, and all of a sudden something just hits you like, wow, I know I want this, but now I see what it takes to get to it. And it's sobering because Saturn can be very, very sobering. And it brings sobriety of the mind because Mercury is the mind. It can bring a little bit of down, like you feel a little bit down energy, but it's kind of like you feel down, but you get kicked into gear to take something to take care of something. You get kicked into action with this particular transit. So, um, yeah, and another thing is Mercury. Let's see here is on its shadow. It's doing its shadow thing because it's going to go retrograde on November the 25th. So this is actually a time, November 11th, 12th, and 13th, where you want to think about or just pay attention to what's coming up. Are you getting like a sober mind around something, but it's kicking you into gear? Are you feeling a little bit down about something? Saturn is in Pisces, and so it could be there's a goal that you want to achieve, but this block to you getting there is really highlighted. But maybe you start getting kind of the first clues during this time. Because again, like I said, Mercury is going to come back and meet Saturn in Pisces. Pisces is spiritual. So, maybe on the one hand, you have hope, but on the other hand, you feel kind of spiritually blocked. That's kind of sort of it's kind of like, yeah, I can see the vision. I'm better now, but I just have really been feeling like, oh my gosh, like, am I connected to spirit? Like, what is going on here? So it could feel like a spiritual blockage. It could feel like sometimes it's just like this unseen block. You don't know why it's there. You just know it's there. And maybe, yeah, again, it's just all around like you have this goal, you have this vision for what you want, but there's something that, or maybe it's like you can't fully see it. You just feel like I can see part of the vision, I can't see the full vision. And so that could be highlighted. And something around travel also, because Mercury can signify traveling along with Sagittarius. And so maybe some people are looking into foreign travel, and it might be like this is sort of like you got the vision, but you don't have all the details. You need to really get the details and to make sure that you're not just kind of like operating without a plan. This transit is kind of like, yeah, you can see the vision, but you need a plan and you need to have all the details, all the little tasks that go with it. So this is something that could also be coming up. And both of these signs actually are connected to spirituality, a little bit of religion. So it could be something coming up in that regard also, some type of topic. And maybe you're going to have a talk, or you hear a talk, maybe between an older person and a younger person. And maybe you're one of those. Maybe you're the younger person and you're having a discussion with the older person, or vice versa. But it's a little bit heated and you're bumping heads a little bit. Maybe it's like a very spiritual, somewhat intellectual conversation, but there's a little bit of a clash. But clash is okay because you can learn so much. We don't all have to agree. I will say both of these are mutable signs, and so it could be it's two people having a conversation, but one is having a conversation about E and the other A, and the other one is having a conversation about B, and they don't even realize it. But it'll come back around. This conversation will come back around. So yeah. And then we have on Friday, Saturn goes direct. So with Saturn going direct, that means that Saturn is retrograde, or excuse me, station this week. Station means it's not moving. And I did a video, I put it inside of my Mighty Networks, and it made me talk about that Saturn and the effect on the election, and how I think that's part of the reason that Kamala Harris didn't win. It's not the only reason, but I do see it as part of the reason. And how now, well, first of all, when a planet is retrograde and it's about to move direct, it becomes very strong and intense. So for personally, it could be something actually materializes or manifests this week that you have like dreamed of happening. Could be something that you kind of are like, I did not want that to manifest because Saturn can be a little hardcore. And maybe it's just kind of like manifesting whatever is in the subconscious mind because it's in the subconscious mind. So maybe it's gonna manifest something like that. Saturn is always around boundaries and a plan, and it's like a tried and true method. Another thing is it's about cycles. So maybe you'll feel yourself fully click into a new cycle or something like that. On the collective level, it definitely could represent recognizing a cycle that we are in. And yeah, so the full moon in Taurus is the same day. So that's interesting because we're going to have this Saturn that's not moving. I know it says direct, but that just means that it's like going to start moving forward, but it's barely moving. And uh yeah, its energy was just sitting there super powerful. So it'll be a part of that full moon in Taurus. And so it's kind of like Saturn is slow and methodical and step by step by step. And so that full moon is going to be revealing something in that way. It's kind of like maybe with Saturn being direct this week, close to that full moon, we'll be able to get some clarity because the moon is going to illuminate some things. We'll be able to get some clarity around what are the steps that we need to take. Saturn in Pisces is yeah, Saturn is a rough planet. And so it could be a week also where it's kind of revealed where Saturn is going to be putting rules and regulations in a Piscean way. It could be something around prisons and hospitals and the ocean, like ocean regulations or um, prisons, hospitals, yeah, nonprofits, people, even immigrants, because I know we got that topic going on. Really, that's going on everywhere in the world. Something around immigrants and migration and refugees, that kind of thing. It could be coming up. And I just share that because I don't want any of us to be surprised when we see things on the news. Okay, so we're also going to have Sun opposing Uranus on the 16th. So it's pretty much there. So that's also going to be a part of this full moon. Scorpio and Taurus, these moons are no joke. Oh my gosh. So Sun opposing Uranus. Essentially what that means is 180 degrees from Uranus. So I'm assuming it'll be about the 25th degree that they'll be opposite of each other. And so that definitely brings a lot of tension, a lot of push and pull. And it could be around money and healing and um, self-worth, self-value, self-care. And it's kind of like, um, I don't know. I kind of feel like this is one where maybe you're being pushed in some kind of way. Like I know there's the pull and the pull might be resistance, but this might be kind of like you got to let go of that resistance. You have got to let go. I even think that let me see here. Is that moon close? Yeah, that moon is even close to um the full moon is 1 degree before Uranus and it's going to be a part of that full moon actually. So there might be some resistance. Think about in your life where are you experiencing resistance? And this full moon might help you to get that breakthrough. It might help you to get that resistance. so that maybe you can shine more. You can be more in your gifts and your talents, and have some confidence. And maybe there's some resistance around money, money topics. These are all things that could be coming up for you. And some of the resistance there's I'm hearing the word obsession, because Scorpio can be completely and totally obsessed. So maybe there's some obsession that you're dealing with, and this full moon is going to kind of highlight it and make kind of show like this obsession is not helping you, or you don't have enough energy around it. Whatever this thing is you need to do, you're resisting. And so it can kind of help to catapult you to get there. That's because of the sun and this Uranus energy. So, yeah, wow. Um, then we go into the 18th, next Monday, Mercury opposition Jupiter. And it's kind of like what I talked about in the beginning with Mercury square Saturn. Mercury is going to be communicating with this Jupiter, and it's like a clash of ideas, perhaps, or maybe it's like you see the big picture, but you don't know the details, or it's like you're getting buried in all the details to the point where you forget the big picture. So it could be something around that. But within you, there's a lot going on about like where you're headed and what it is that you want to focus on. And um, it's like this, you could use it for like goal setting, but this particular goal setting might be more about, hey, let's put down all the details. Let's get some details on paper. Like, what are the actual steps? So it just feels like this week is definitely about, y'all, we need to get clear on what exactly we are going to do so that we can actually take action. So, for the individual, I need to get clear on what I need to do so that I can take action. So I like that. It could be a little bit of a clash between your beliefs and this bigger paradigm that's out there. Maybe your limiting beliefs get highlighted, and it's something about like this wisdom teaching. It might be some wisdom that was handed to you and you never followed it, or you forgot it, and it comes back up. And it's kind of like, hey, you're seeing the world in a myopic way. Here's some wisdom, and it opens you up. I will say I do like that for like having a gratitude practice. That's something that I posted in my Mighty Networks group today. Is it's important to focus on. I also put it on my Substack if you're there. It's important for you to. I don't know why y'all would know what my Substack is. It just hit me. I have not shared that. I'm on Substack now too. But anywho, it's all about having a practice of gratitude this week. Let me see if I can find the post. Here it is. Eventually, I will be able to say thank you for every experience in my life. And my challenge to all of its sisters, all of you, is to affirm that. Some people, you may be super happy and everything is great. And if you are struggling, then this is something to say. Eventually, I will be able to say thank you for every experience in my life. And it can be a little bit of a hard pill, but it's definitely doable. Okay, I'm going to take that away. Okay. So that Mercury opposition Jupiter it could be one of those like, okay, let me just step into gratitude. Let me step into gratitude right now. And you may not even actually feel grateful, but the more you step into gratitude, it actually will shift your mindset. Okay. Oh, finally a nice transit. Sun trine Neptune. So the Sun trine Neptune is spiritual, and it can bring this energy of intuition. Oh my gosh. So the top of next week may feel very intuitive. It's just this knowing. I think miracles potentially could abound around that time. And it could be a time, definitely a healing time. It's probably a good time if you, I would say the Sunday the 17th, Monday the 18th, Tuesday the 19th. You could use those days. If you don't have to use all three, but one or more of those days to do something good for yourself, to relax a little bit. And let's see here. It could be a time of creativity. So for people who are very creative, it might be a really good time to do some creative work. Very spiritual. So maybe you want to study some old wisdom texts, do a lot of readings for yourself or for people in your family. And the sun is in Scorpio, which is taboo. So maybe you're going to be doing some spiritually taboo things, whatever that means for you. And yeah, it's a good time to do some deep, deep healing, either for the body, the mind, the soul, that kind of thing. I can't help myself. I got to go on ahead and go to the 19th. Pluto and Aquarius. Wow, we are really living at a time where it's historic. Pluto will never return to any sign. So, for instance, when I was born, Pluto was over here in Virgo. It will never in our lifetimes return to Virgo. But, and so with Pluto moving out of Capricorn for good into Aquarius, that's it. We have been through this historic time of the rebirthing of the United States, the Pluto return, and now we're going into a whole new era of Pluto and Aquarius. So when this actually first started was the end of 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn met right here on zero of Aquarius. It's called the Royal Conjunction, I think is what I heard it called. Jupiter and Saturn coming in there together, just like, oh, how many, yeah, I can't even remember how many years. I think the last time they met in an air sign, it wasn't Aquarius, it was Libra, was like in the 80s. Um, but let me just see if I can get that. Yeah, it's about every 20 years. So it set off, number one, a new cycle, but it's a new cycle in Aquarius or in the air signs. Very different from meeting in the earth signs, which they had mostly been doing except for that time in Libra. And so you can see how much the world changed. It had already started shifting with the pandemic and a lot of like the whole world living online. That was the preview. And then nothing went back to how it was. So much of life is still online. And it's one of the reasons that I said, we're moving from people in corporations really controlling things to things being controlled by tech. It's the sign of community. And I really do believe that Aquarius will necessitate community because people are not going to want to meet online all the time. I think that it will mess up people's mental health and is not natural that people spend so much time online and so much time connected to tech. And connecting in person will become even more important. So I really do believe that's something that's going to come up. But one of the reasons again that I thought Kamala Harris was going to win is I think it would be very progressive to have a woman in the United States be president. Uh, and so, yeah, I wasn't right. But maybe, maybe in my lifetime, I will see something besides a white man up there. Um, I give thanks that, we got a chance to see President Obama there. But in my mind, this has to take us, it has to bring up Aquarius things. It has to. Aquarius is technology. I think podcasting and YouTubing and radio. I even think radio is going to come back in some kind of way. Yeah, maybe it's going to be online. People aren't going to radio stations, but a lot of broadcasting is going to be highlighted with Aquarius. It's about progress in science, even though, and I say this personally, I feel like the United States is anti-science. This is a world transit, to be honest with you, but science should become something that is more prominent, to be honest with you, because Aquarius is science, it's society, it is the people are in charge, and it's to a certain degree like a democracy. And then on the other hand, it's more of like a democratic socialist because everyone's supposed to have a vote it with Aquarius and nobody is left behind. So for me right now, personally, I'm speaking, I am just like, this will be interesting to see how it plays out because right now it doesn't feel that way. Um, but it is what it is. And just like I don't doubt the oracle, I don't doubt astrology. And so what I do doubt is humans and their bias. And a lot of people can call some astrology, but when we are super biased, it's like take everything with a grain of salt. Uh, so yeah, Pluto going into Aquarius is going to shift society, full stop. And so it's going back to that 0 point where Saturn and Jupiter met in 2020. And now this is the third time that it's been there. I think the third, no, not the third, it's probably like the fifth time it's gone over this 0 degrees of Aquarius. So every time that 0 degree point gets activated, then, it's like it just sets it in even more. And 0 degree is like a button where it's like begin. And every time there have been times when Mars and Venus have met there on that 0 degree. And let's see here. We have Pluto there. It seems like there was something else that happened on that 0 degree. But anywho, definitely a very, very important transit. And it's interesting because this is the most outer planet. Pluto is not a personal planet. It is a planet that moves very, very slowly. It creates change very, very slowly. A lot of times the change is going to be internal. It's more of a psychological type of planet. You could even call it a generational planet. It marks uh, generations and what they are about. So, for instance, I was born in Virgo, and I swear everybody I find doing something that's a little bit um, questionable in health and wellness, in the health and wellness routine. Some of the, to me, the worst trends and fads are started by people with Pluto and Virgo because Virgo is all about health. And I used to describe myself as a health nut. We, Pluto and Virgo, are health nuts. I want you to think Jane, well, is Jane fond of Pluto and Virgo? No, I don't think she is. But anywho, you know, Pluto and Virgo. Oh my goodness. Look, now I'm so curious, but I really don't think she's in the same generation as me. And then people with Pluto and Libra. This is the group that a lot of times relationships is such a challenge for people with Pluto and Libra. Oh my goodness. Pluto and Libra. Those are the Zennials. Those are the Zennials, the lost generation. It's a real generation, a generation between the Gen X and the millennials. So that's a lot of how I see the Pluto and Libra. I will say both. The Pluto and Virgo and Libra generations can be very highly educated. Uh, that's something else I've noticed about them. Pluto and Scorpio, that would be the millennials. And, they're here to kind of rebel, and they are very much into astrology. Maybe not everybody, but I have found a lot of the millennials are very cool with astrology. They're very much into therapy. A lot of them use a lot of substances because it's like they are the generation that is dealing with the wounding. So even if it's not drugs, it's like something to kind of like heal themselves, ayahuasca and mushrooms and all kinds of things, kind of like this taboo alternative way of healing. Psychology, they are good with it. Um, yeah, and then we have Pluto and Sag, which is the Gen Z group, and, you know, they are they're a different breed. For those of us who are parents to Gen Z, a lot of them are actually really, really smart. I know some Gen Zs may not think the the entire group is, but it's a group that is kind of futuristic thinking. They're wise, they have a lot of wisdom around them. And I think that they'll be the next generation. It's almost like Gen X and Zennials were kind of in government, but these Gen Z, I think they're gonna start flooding government soon because Sag is like this energy of the law and that kind of thing. So a lot of them will be probably about that kind of thing, working with the laws of the land. And then we had Gen Alpha. These are like little CEOs. We wonder why these some of them are pandemic babies, and some of the pandemic babies are, mm, maybe we wouldn't consider pandemic babies Pluto and Aquarius, now that I think about it. Um, but yeah, pandemic babies are Pluto and Capricorn, where it's just like, oh my gosh, these kids they come out like next level, doing stuff where they're like, I ain't got time to do all that little baby stuff. Give me about a month or 2, and Imma be like a 8-month-old. Having all these little fundraisers, and they're just, like, old souls for real. And then last year we started having it was like a little bit of a they're gonna be like the Zennials, little bit of a back and forth. Pluto came out of Capricorn, went into Aquarius, went out of Aquarius, back into Capricorn, back into Aquarius, back into Capricorn, and then it's gonna come straight into Aquarius. And so they're gonna be advanced, like, they might be born with laptops. They might be born with little glasses on and little beakers, doing science experiments as they come out the womb, right? They will be quirky because Aquarius is quirky and it's weird, it is non-traditional. And it is like a lot of things can happen that are unexpected. And so that generation will be marked in that way. They will definitely be a generation where it's just like, we ain't never seen nothing like this in our days. But you won't quite be able to guess at it because it's Aquarius is like something that's unexpected. So I will say with Pluto going into Aquarius, that's something that in general we need to be ready to be about, baby. Unexpected things happening. I think that we will see a lot more electrical storms and stuff like that because Aquarius has to do with electricity. Um, it'll be interesting to see. It is a very intelligent sign. It is also the sign of conspiracy theories. It is one of the things I least like about Aquarius. I don't like conspiracy theories. And I think that we think we've been seeing some stuff run amok and rampant. We ain't seen nothing yet with Pluto going into Aquarius. But it's like I said, it's the sign, it's a very, very highly intelligent sign. And so there's the other part that's like, prove it. Nope. I don't want to hear conspiracy theory. I want to see your proof. Let's get this little science experiment going. We're going to test it and we're going to see, does it work? Let's see here. But yeah, Pluto in Aquarius is um actually thinking about it. I'm like, I don't really like not really. I don't like the results of the election, but this gives me a little bit of hope. Like, it ain't gonna come easy. There will be a lot of things that are you just can't guess. Last little bit I'll say is with Aquarius, because it's ruled by Saturn, this is the kind of energy where it's like it just plugs along and it plugs along and it plugs along. And then all of a sudden it elevates. It's just like it has this sudden elevation. So I just want to encourage you to plug along, keep plugging along, keep going, stick and stay, do not deviate. And eventually one day you're going to find yourself having elevated. I have told y'all, I think y'all should get some online real estate somewhere because, Pluto is going to really highlight the internet and making money online. I just keep hearing, especially my astrology teacher, talk about how people are going to be making money in a very different way and working for themselves more than working for other people. And I just really think that, let's see here, in Aquarius society, too. Well, honestly, some of the things that we can do are spiritual. Do some spiritual work and healing. If you're a healer, do healing work. I think that it could emphasize work like in the hospital and in science labs. But what I will say is I don't really want to it could something around prisons. I really don't want to bring that up, but it's just true. Nonprofits. It's just this is the second house from Aquarius. It's kind of like how can you make money? What are some things that you could do? And let's see here. Then the next one would be Cancer. Again, this is healing. It's working with liquids, working on the water, these kinds of things. Now, how it translates to being online, maybe you're going to be doing some healing work online. Cancer is also a sign that's about children and mothers. So maybe you do online work to support women and children, that kind of thing. Um, let's see here. Oh, something about real estate. So maybe you're teaching people about real estate online. Those are things that you could be doing. And then lastly would be scorpionic things, which could be working with people who are in crisis, with psychology. This is a very spiritual sign. Astrology is something else that could really become something that more people are doing for folks and or readings and initiations and just bringing back the old ways back to present. It could truly be some ways to make money, but it's kind of like you've got to figure out how to use technology. I'll say that technology as well as maybe being online. So work on that, fam. So I hope that's helpful in understanding Pluto and Aquarius and kind of where we're headed. Let's do a reading. Okay, I always like for y'all to see me pull the cards, shuffle and pull the cards. I like to be wowed by the universe, even though I will complain if I don't like the reading. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Give us a reading for this next week, November 11th through the 18th. Here's number 1 and 2. I need a third one and 3. Okay. So I love this first one. I pulled the Lakshmi card, and it has to do with the Wheel of Fortune. So that's nice. We can expect some good fortune this week. So we know Lakshmi is out of India, and she is the divine power of wealth and prosperity in all forms. Lakshmi is spiritual enlightenment embodied. She is the goddess of fortune and manifestation of abundance and prosperity on all levels. I'm good with that. Let's see here. So I'm just going to read the message. Lakshmi's gifts often come when least expected. Okay. She showers her abundance on all living beings, whether they ask for it or not, when hoped for and when unexpected. I would love that for you. Lakshmi's purity of consciousness and communion with the divine invite you to change your fortune by opening to the opportunities she brings. I would say this is most like the sun meeting with uh, Neptune. So, if you don't experience it earlier in the week, maybe you'll start experiencing this on the weekend. She shows you how to turn your life in a positive direction when you pay attention and align with her creative flow, where heaven and all its gifts come through into manifestation on earth. So, yeah, you can even look up songs with Lakshmi, find a song that fits your ear because sometimes, if you're not used to the music of that culture, it's like you have to get used to that sound. But I just encourage everybody to turn on a Lakshmi song. You can light a candle. I have actually a little picture that I printed out of Lakshmi. And, if you have some image of her, you could put a little candle in front of it. And it's essentially you want to keep your hands, but you don't have to walk around like this, but, it's leave yourself in this posture of receptivity. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to receive the blessings. It's called a boon. You want to receive Lakshmi's boon. So may you, Mother Lakshmi, bless, bless, bless all of these beautiful goddesses and their families with your boon of blessings over this next week and beyond. Okay, so the next one I would say is that Mercury mixing with Saturn and Mercury mixing with Jupiter that we talked about earlier. This is the pessimism card. I pulled it last week, so apparently we need to keep talking about it. It's interesting because this one is about Aquarius, but anywho, so this woman imagines herself to be stuck inside a box-like prison of her own making. So is there a prison of your own making that you have yourself boxed into? Her pessimism has created a mental outlook of self-imposed limitation. She is projecting these attitudes into her world, and they are reflected back to her. She has trapped herself in the 7 dimensions of hell on earth, even though in reality, she could walk out of her self made prison at any time. So you just want to pay attention to the thoughts that come to you over this next week. So we're already feeling it on November the 11th. It'll feel strong the 11th, 12th, and the 13th. And again, maybe the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. This energy around feeling a little bit like a little negative Nancy. And it's like thinking about all the ways this just cannot work. And, it's just the words and the pictures and the thoughts that we have truly create our reality. And yeah, you just want to make sure that you're kind of like checking in. You want to be aware. Remember, that's part of the purposeful or the framework for purposeful goddess living is awareness. And so just be aware of your thoughts this week and see, where are you boxing yourself in? This card serves as a stark reminder that how you perceive your world and the attitudes you hold towards others determine the quality and choices of your life. Being boxed into a limited, hellish reality can show addiction to negativity and pessimism. Explore and root out habit patterns in yourself of anticipating the worst possible outcome and finding negative qualities in others. Now is the time to give thanks for all you have with a positive new perspective and change your world. And we talked about that, having that gratitude practice. That's why I like y'all to see me pull the cards so that we can be wowed. It's like, oh my gosh, we talked about that earlier. Okay, interesting. This one, love. I thought that was so interesting when I pulled the card. Um, First of all, it's a water card, so I like that. Venus in Cancer. Okay, okay. In this deck, that's what it represents, Venus in Cancer. Two dolphins play and dance in the water of love, representing intimate relationship on all levels. Two waterfalls flow into one, just as individuality forms a strong basis for true union. Merging into oneness comes as the isolated ego is surrendered into the ocean of love. So, what does that mean? Isolated ego. The ego that has you feeling isolated, won't let you connect to other people. Maybe it has some fear around it. And so, I mean, it's a lot of people out there that's just like the ego won't let them go into communion with someone else. So that might be something coming up for people this week. Love is who you are and is all around you to experience. Open your heart fully to the relationship you deserve. So I'm just going to assume somebody needed to hear this week. Ah, maybe that Venus in Capricorn, that's really more of like, girl, we're getting ready to work. And I'm just real about what's going on with this man or, this person that I'm in a relationship with. I'm just real about it. This is not really that, but maybe you deserve a beautiful, beautiful relationship, goddess. So let me pull an affirmation. I haven't pulled an affirmation in a while. I just feel like we need to continue to cultivate our minds, just like that pessimism card. It's like we have to pay attention to what are our minds thinking. We got to give it something to think. And so we already gave it the one about one day. I'm going to give thanks for everything that has happened. And let's see what we have for this week. Oh, I pulled, I am positive. I am positive. I am positive. I know some of us need that. I do. Woo! That goes with that pessimism card. So this week, we're striving to be positive. There's an Odu, it's called O'Shea. And O'Shea says, celebrate beauty over negativity. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do. I appreciate you all for being here with me today. Hello to all of the G Hive. And I'll be here on Wednesday. And we're going to talk about that full moon in Taurus on this upcoming Wednesday. So make sure you take note of I'm going to put up a, to let y'all know, that the live stream is going to happen, and you can click so that you're notified, and make sure you bring your morning beverage. I'm drinking water right now for my evening beverage. And come in ready to talk about the full moon in Taurus. We give thanks to the great mother. We give thanks to the ancient mothers, our ancestral mothers, our ancestors as a whole, our ancestors of light. Thank you for letting us stand on your shoulders, and thank you for surrounding us, protecting us, guiding us, directing us. We know that we are not alone. We are surrounded by beautiful, beautiful, glorious energy, and we're surrounded by each other, whether in person or virtually. All right, y'all take care, and see you soon. I'm going to put on a little music to take me out of here. Let's see what this one sounds like. Okay. Oh, wow. Oh. Hey. Well, have a beautiful, beautiful week. Thank you for being here.